Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Cooking for Only Half of My Housemates? I'm a 23-year-old female, and I live in a house with 7 other housemates. We're all in our early 20s. Some of us are in grad school or college, some of us with jobs. Cooking is one of my favorite hobbies. And a lot of people say that my food is restaurant quality. When we first moved in together a few months ago, I made a huge welcome home type dinner. Truffle risotto, lobster bisque, and cod fillets. Obviously, a gaggle of poor undergrad and grad students don't have the most luxurious diets, and I felt happy to be able to feed them. Pretty much every day I would cook for the whole house, and in the beginning, they were so appreciative. They were saving tons of money eating something other than cup ramen. During the midterms a few months back, I was so stressed that I didn't have the energy to cook anymore. It's a huge task to cook for 8 people, as it's an insane amount of ingredients and energy. Everyone got upset and began making really snide comments. After midterms finished, they asked me when I would start cooking again. And I put my foot down and said that I just couldn't cook for 8 people every night anymore. And that after that, I only cooked enough for 4 people. Most recipes online yield 3 to 6 servings, and rather than letting food go to waste, I'd invite whoever is in the house at dinner at the time to join me. The issue, I cook a certain time every night, so only people with a compatible schedule have been able to eat. Half of them have class, work, or internships around that time, while the other half have a busier morning. So it was the same people getting the free meals every day. This made the other 4 angry, and they told me this was unfair as they couldn't control their schedules. And I began to get harassed. Alice said, as the poorest one, who works 2 jobs, free food would benefit her the most. Mike said, as a college student, he had no income, and therefore he deserved the food. This person would beg me to save a portion for them after their shift. That person would call me selfish, etc., etc. At a certain point, I was done. I told them to stop bothering me. That I was just going to cook what I wanted, regardless of the financial situation, schedules, allergies, sob stories, etc. I told them that they could set up their own schedule, a rotation, whatever, just leave me out of it. Well, the 7 of them had a meeting and decided that I was the one creating the problem by only cooking for 4. So, they said that I either have to cook for 8 people or I don't cook at all. Apparently, because I'm the most financially stable out of all of us, the extra ingredients shouldn't be a problem. If I didn't want to, I should stop leaving extra food because that was causing conflict. I lost my temper and called them ridiculous. That I voluntarily cook, serve, and clean up after because I want to. And their inability to cooperate wasn't my fault or problem. It's been tense ever since. I'm pretty sure that I'm not the jerk, but as all of my housemates strongly disagree, it's causing me to doubt myself. Alright, OP, I think this is a classic case of don't bite the hand that feeds you. Quite literally here. Yes, dear viewer, I am proud of that joke. I will not put my head down in shame. No, this expectation for you to manage them so they can figure out how to feed themselves is absurd. You gave them a solution. The solution was, well, you all set up a schedule or rotation so that you can have the meals. And the thing is that the 4 that you were cooking for were being selfish and not sharing with the other ones. And that's not your fault. Like, you were just feeding people as who was there. You didn't have enough time to cook more elaborate meals, and here they are being ungrateful. So no, you're not a jerk at all. And just so that people can get a bit of clarification here, I did actually look at the comments on this one, and it says, or perhaps I should have clarified, their ultimatum wasn't cook for 8 or cook for 1. It was to cook for 8 or cook for none, as in they don't want me to cook at all. So it's not even that they don't want her to cook for herself. is that they literally are telling her that she can't cook at all. She can't even feed herself if she doesn't cook for all of them, which is probably the most unreasonable thing that I've ever heard here. This is an extremely selfish, okay, let me rephrase that. It's not the most unreasonable thing I've heard. I've heard pretty unreasonable things, especially from this channel, but it ranks up there as pretty absurd. So no, OP, you're not a jerk. Your roommates are acting very unreasonable, and they can work out their own problems. What I would do from here on out is just cook for yourself. I mean, I know you like cooking for everyone or cooking for multiple people, but they didn't even have your back. The people who you were cooking for didn't have your back, and they couldn't even have the courtesy to set up some kind of leftover schedule for the other folks. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that you're at fault here, though. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Find new roommates. They had a meeting without you, and the 3 you cooked for didn't even have your back. You're not the jerk. I know, talk about ungrateful people. Not the jerk, you're not their personal chef. 1 roommate can be bad enough. 7 is asking for conflict. Do yourself a favor and get out. It might cost more, but you can't put a price on not having a fight with a basketball team worth of people every single day. And OP replies, brah, at least a personal chef gets paid. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for helping my sister-in-law with her baby shower even though my husband had plans? My sister-in-law, husband's brother's wife, baby shower was this past weekend. It was their first child, and we are pretty close, so I wanted to be there for her. Plus, it was only an hour away, so I could make a little day trip out of it. The shower was scheduled from 11 to 5, but I told sister-in-law that I would come early to help get things set up. The shower was planned over a month ago, and my husband knew about it because he talks with his brother pretty regularly. A couple weeks ago, one of my husband's friends from out of state called him and told him that he would be in our city the same weekend as the baby shower and asked my husband if he wanted to get together. They haven't seen each other in over a year, so my husband was looking forward to reconnecting. But the only day that worked for his friend was the same day as the baby shower. I reminded my husband that he had to stay home and watch our 18-month-old son that day, and he said he was fine as long as he got to meet up with his friend after the baby shower. He said that they were going to get tickets to a baseball game that started at 7, so I would need to be home by then. I told him that was fine. Well, the day of the baby shower came, and I left home at around 9 a.m. to go help sister-in-law set up for the shower. Things with the shower took a little bit longer than I thought, and people didn't end up leaving sister-in-law's house till around 6 p.m. Then I helped her clean up a bit before heading home. I called my husband to let him know that I was headed home, and he just said, "You're leaving now? I'm supposed to meet my friend in 30 minutes. I told him that I would hurry as fast as I could. Then on my way home, I took a different route than I normally do and ended up hitting road construction. I tried calling my husband, but he didn't answer. With the traffic, I ended up not getting home until around 8:30. When I finally got home, I found my husband getting our son ready for bed and told him that he could leave now. He just looked at me and said he already called his friend to cancel. He said he was exhausted from chasing our son around all day by himself, and even if he left now, he would only maybe get 3 innings of the game. I reminded him how excited he was to see his friend, and he said, yeah, I was excited, now I'm just tired. After he put our son to bed, he came back downstairs and I tried to apologize to him and explain that I just couldn't leave early. But he just snapped at me and asked, why not? Why couldn't you just leave when you knew I had something I was looking forward to? He said this was the first time in over 6 months that he was going to go see friends, and I sabotaged it. I told him that it was on purpose, but he said it doesn't matter. I still made a choice that put him lower on my priority list. At this point, I was in near tears and tried to apologize again, but he said he just wants to be alone for a bit and went downstairs to play video games. Alright, OP. I'm gonna have to say that you are a bit of a jerk in this situation. It seems like you knew that he needed to be out of the house by 7 or needed to be on his way by 7. And it sounds like you didn't prioritize him in this situation. And I mean, I think this is difficult. And I mean, this isn't like this is a non-reconcilable problem in your relationship. but it does seem like you should give him time to basically decompress and, stop being angry. I mean, this is something that he was looking forward to. He hadn't been able to see friends in 6 months, just as you were looking forward to being able to go to the baby shower and, set up and whatnot. You helped set up, and you should have ahead of time, because you knew well in advance that you were going to not necessarily be able to stay to help and clean up. You could have called and said that, hey, I can help you set up, but I just can't help you clean up at the end, so it would be good if you were able to find someone else to help you with that, because I just can't. Husband has a thing that he needs to do that night. And I'm sure your sister-in-law would have been more than understanding in that situation. She would have probably, been, more than happy to find someone else. And if she couldn't, at that point in time, you've already given your forewarning that you weren't going to be able to help in that situation. So I think overall, if you had taken more time to look out for your husband and his needs in this situation, that this situation could have been avoided. And, again, I think sometimes in relationships, people have conflicting interests. And in this particular case, there were conflicting interests. And you certainly couldn't help the traffic, but you could have tried leaving earlier in order to not essentially, to at least get there a little bit sooner. I mean, I'm sure he would have been understanding if you had been a little bit late just because of traffic, but at a certain point you were an hour and a half late, and I think that right there is probably what really got him more than anything, is that this wasn't just like, oh, you were, a half hour late because of unexpected road work, but you were an hour and a half late because you helped to do things that you weren't necessarily required to do. So I think, again, that's probably why he's angry in this situation, or upset in this situation. So again, at this point in time, I would just give him time to, decompress, try to make it up to him somehow, and, move forward here. And that's really the best you can do. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk. Your husband is right. You could have left, but you chose not to. You didn't have to help to clean. You chose to. Think the bigger issue is that he was upset and tired. Instead of letting him cool off, you kept asking why he wasn't going to the event that you made him late for. Yeah, OP is trying to make it, am I the jerk for helping my sister-in-law, when it's really, am I the jerk for not honoring a promise I made to my husband? The fact that she pestered him when she got home is just an added layer of jerkiness. You're the jerk. Seriously, following him around and going, but you were so excited, isn't helping anyone. How clueless do you have to be to say that to someone about their plans that they had to cancel because you were inconsiderate? Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.